What's up guys, it's Saturday and I'm at a card show, and today I've got a mission. I picked up this Patrick Mahomes rookie. It's a graded PSA 7. My mission today is to try to upgrade this to an 8 or maybe even a 9 if I can get lucky, and do that all for $0. So let's see if I can get it done. So I got the Mahomes as partial payment of when I was sold a lot of about 2,000 cards that were 50-cent or dollar cards. Really, I'm not into it for any money. So if I can figure out a way to get this 7 up to an 8 or 9 and maybe eventually a 10 without having any cost, that would be awesome. I think right now a 7, I think the average sales are around 175, and an 8 is like 225. So I need to figure out a way to make $50, be able to use that to either trade maybe cards or the cash that I make to upgrade. I've got $100, so I'm going to use that as kind of my budget of what I'm going to buy, and then I'm going to turn around and try to flip that and make up the difference to be able to buy the better Mahomes. Of course, I have to find one first. They advertise this as 50 tables, but it's a lot of Pokemon and that kind of thing. So I don't know how many sports cards there will be. So there may not even be a Mahomes here, but if I can get enough other cards and sell them on Whatnot, then maybe I'll be able to find Mahomes at the next show I get to. Here we are walking in. This is just in one of the buildings at the university. The show was just starting a couple minutes ago, so hopefully if there's one here, no one's bought it already. But I'll take a quick browse around and see what we can find. So it's kind of like I thought, mostly all Pokemon. I couldn't find a Mahomes rookie, so now I'm just going to go dig through dollar bins and see what cards I can get at a good deal, and then we'll try to sell them on Whatnot and see what kind of money we can make. Just picked up a big stack of 31 cards for $6. Can't beat that deal. So I still got about $31 left of the 100, but music in there is so loud, and like people are trying to talk 2 feet away from each other, and you have to like yell at each other, so it's giving me a headache. So I'm coming outside, got a full box anyway, so I got to empty this, and well, actually I have another box in the car, so I'll grab that and then head back in and see what I can't get with these last few dollars. All right, walking out, it's about 12:30. I almost filled a second box, so I brought some Pokemon that I ended up selling for 25 bucks, and I used that to go through a 25-cent bin, probably the best 25-cent box I've ever seen. It's pulling out LeBron and Luka parallels and stuff, and got 90 cards from that box for 20 bucks. So altogether, spent 125 today on these. So now I'm gonna go on Whatnot and see what I can get resale. Hopefully I can make at least $50, hopefully a lot more. All right, about to go live with this big stack here. I don't know exactly how many cards it is, probably at least 150. So if every card sells for at least $1, some of them will probably sell for, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5. So we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. All right, well, the show didn't quite go as I had hoped, but I did manage to sell all these. Most of the cards were selling for like $1, but even after the fee and I ran the show for about an hour. It didn't quite go like I wanted, but it's Saturday afternoon. People are out doing stuff, and there's probably tons of shows going on right now. So a lot of competition to get people in the room. I think the most I had in there at one point was like 7 or 8. And I've had other days where I get like 30 in there, no problem. I did manage to sell all of these, and I made $65.50. I think that's before fees. So we'll see how much that actually ends up being. And then of course I have to take out cost of shipping materials, but it was mostly one guy bought almost everything. So the shipping material is gonna be very cheap. It's gonna be like 1 box and maybe a couple envelopes. But I do still have all this stuff left, including some of the bigger cards, that Skeens, the numbered Weather Holt, the Jesus Mate, the Silver McCarthy, and just a bunch of other stuff. I just need to get more people in the room. So we'll try to run the rest of that as another show sometime next week, and we'll just kind of add those 2 totals together, and then I will let you know how it goes. We'll see ya. So I went ahead and listed these 4 cards, what I'd say are the biggest cards that I had left from the card show. I went ahead and listed them on Whatnot and eBay. I already sold this Weather Holt for 35, so it got about 30 bucks after that. So that puts us up to 75 total. We still got these left to sell, and then still have all these cards in this box. I'm going to run another Whatnot show and see if I can't just move all those for a couple bucks for like 3 or 4 cards at a time, and see what we can get up to total. All right, it's now Saturday. It's been 1 week since the show when I picked up all those cards to try to flip and make enough money to upgrade my graded Mahomes rookie. Had my biggest whatnot show ever today. Sold almost $700 worth of cards. A lot of those are the cards that I got last week. I counted that up, and the sales from those cards that I got last week that I sold today, I made another $64.11. So I'll add that to the running total. And the good news is I still have all of these cards left. It's a lot of basketball. I'm gonna run a basketball show in 2 days. There's still some baseball. I still got that Paul Skeens that goes for about 25 bucks. And yeah, we're definitely gonna make enough to upgrade the Mahomes by the time we're all done with this lot. So let's run the basketball and see what happens with that. Just accepted an offer on eBay for this Paul Skeens yellow parallel rookie, whatever, for $25. So after fees, that's nets me about $20. That brings our total up to $162, which is a $37 profit. So at this point, I'm going to call this a success. And the last thing I have to do now is go find that PSA 8 Mahomes, and hopefully they'll trade it for the 7 and then 37 bucks. But I do still have like 50 more cards that I bought that are now just mixed in with the basketball and the football lots, and I'll sell those over time and make some money there too. But I think I've got enough, and now let's go get that PSA 8. All right, I just dropped off the Jesus Mate. That was kind of the last big card that I had from all the stuff I picked up, and I netted 68 cents from that. I sold it, got $5.68 back from Whatnot, and I paid $5 for it. So a small profit there, but at least I got the $5 back. So that brings my total profit up to $41. I actually met a guy locally through a Facebook group, and he has a Mahomes PSA 8 and a 9, and I asked him if he'd be interested in trading me for the 7 and some cash, and I offered him $40. The current comps are about $30 difference, so I was hoping that would be enough to make him say yes. But he said with the season starting, he would rather just sell this 8 or the 9 or just hold on to him. So what I might have to do is sell the 7 and then get enough for that with the $40 and then just buy an 8 from somebody. So I'm at a card show today. I'm going in armed with the Mahomes and $41. I'd like to try to get at least 180 for that. That'd be about 90% of the last comps, which were 220, 210, and 200. Maybe I can get 190 if I'm lucky, but I'll be happy with 180. That would give me 221 to work with to try to buy an 8. So let's see what we can make happen. Well, I couldn't sell it at the show. I guess not really surprising. It was a pretty small show. There was like 20 tables there, and just, I guess, a lot of stigma around a set grade of a 7, even though it's a Mahomes rookie. Like I said, I was trying to get 180, maybe 190 for it, but no one wanted to buy it. Went ahead and put it on eBay. I listed it at 210, which was right in the middle of the last 3 comps, which was 220, 210, and 200. But right before I listed it, there was an auction that ended at 192 or 193. So I ended up accepting an offer for 195 just to sell it and, you know, get the cash for it, which netted me 170. So when I think back through the whole process, I took a big stack of like 50-cent cards that were sitting in a box that weren't selling, and I turned it into the Mahomes. And then, like I said, at the show, I spent $100 and eventually turned all of that into somewhere around 350, maybe even 400, because I finally sold all the rest of the other cards too. So overall, I'd say that was a huge success. Wasn't able to get the PSA 8, but maybe someday I will. But overall, the journey was fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the process of seeing how you can flip some cards and turn a little bit of profit, even just digging through cheap dollar bins. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.